This single type of ad that I've been running for years now has made me millions of dollars, and it's time I explain exactly what it is and how it works.
You again.
Hey, what's going on everyone? Hayden here, coming back at you with a brand new video. And in this one, I'm going to be explaining in a moment exactly what you see right here and what you're probably already wondering, what is this about? Okay, I'm going to explain it, so ignore this board for a moment because it will make no sense until I explain what I'm about to tell you. So, first of all, this was probably a 10-minute debate in my head of, should I even film this video? Okay, Hayden, should you do this? Is this being a little bit of a douche? But I came to the conclusion that regardless of how I feel about it, this is something that I do that works for me inside of my businesses and my companies. And as long as I put that little disclaimer of I'm not being a douche doing this, I want to do it to help you, it's okay. And the reason I put numbers, I guess I'm going to put the word millions in the title, is because that is a legitimate, verifiable by tax returns number based on the amount of money I make. Okay, it's as simple as that. This one type of ad is the most predominantly used one inside of basically all my businesses. This actually goes beyond just e-commerce, and it's not just Facebook ads. So for those of you here who maybe you follow me on YouTube, you watch a bunch of the e-commerce content, maybe you're one of our students for the e-com season programs, that's amazing. But this actually stretches far beyond the typical realm of e-commerce. So if you're doing something, marketing and advertising related in another industry, I highly consider that you follow this model. I've, tried my best to perfect it. There's always ways to do better, but I've consistently worked on it. It's something I've learned by piecing other people's stuff together and, testing a lot of stuff just in crazy ways on my own. So I want to share that with you. And if you guys enjoy content like this, the only real thing I ask, and I would greatly appreciate if you would consider doing it by the end of the video, not necessarily asking you to do it right now, is to drop a like if you get any value at any point, okay? So before I show you, you can already see what's on it, but before you do, I'm gonna block it, all right? Before you look at that, understand that this type of ad is meant for a native ad placement, okay? Now, when it comes to marketing, there's a difference between marketing and advertising. Marketing is storytelling, and it's how you engage with your customer. Advertising is like the metrics behind Facebook ads and Google AdWords and, breaking down which audiences do the best. It's like technical stuff versus how the customer feels when they see your video, your picture, your words, right? Does that make sense? So from a marketing perspective, there's two main types of ads. There's two categories that you're going to fall into before anything else. It's either going to be native or a non-native ad, which I like to call an invasive ad, okay? Think about it like this. If you are on a soccer page, or for those of you across the pond, not in the United States, football, if you're on a soccer Instagram page, right? All these big soccer players, they're showing people kicking crazy soccer goals and, they're promoting stuff of that nature. Well, if I go ahead and advertise a soccer ball on that page via a video with someone kicking a crazy goal, and then we kind of promote the ball that way, that is what's called a native ad. Okay. Now, if I go to one of the biggest meme pages that I can possibly find that has maybe 20 million followers, I guarantee you some of those people like soccer. But if you go post a soccer ball on that page, it has nothing to do with memes. Now, if you were to make it around memes, that might be a little more native, but it's all about the way you structure it, okay? Because you want the audience who's seen that ad to not necessarily think of it as an ad. So for an example, if you posted a soccer ball with a white background, just a stock picture from your supplier, and you posted that on that soccer page that posts videos, that would still be an invasive ad, even though the product might have direct correlation to the audience, okay? So I hope that makes sense, because as soon as you understand that and you make sure you fall into the native category, then this little formula, the three pieces, can start working wonders for you, okay? So get your creative to be native. I guess that rhymed. All right, there's the new saying, get your creative to be native. We're gonna start using that. Now, this is more so relating to your ad copy and the way that you are structuring any written words to your customer. So for an example, when you see a picture on Instagram and there's words underneath it, That is called ad copy. Even if it's not an ad, it's someone's post. That is the copy. That is what ties the post together. You can leave it blank, but from a marketing perspective, these are some things you might want to consider. So let's take a quick look. Number one inside of here. This is something that I have lived by because about 4 years ago, someone told me this. And back when I was a beginner marketer, I didn't know anything about advertising. I was like, well, wait a minute. This makes so much sense, right? Have you ever seen videos where let's use Life Alert? A lot of people might know what that is, right? The old lady falls down, can't get up, has the necklace, presses it, and help comes. They're creating a problem. Now, how many people who are of elderly age are really going to collapse, not be with someone, not be near a telephone? How many people are going to be in a situation like that? Very, very few. But what they did is they created the problem into something much bigger than it actually was. Now, it is a real problem. So they brought attention and awareness to a problem, and then they amplified it. It's as simple as that, and then they sold you on the solution. That's fear-based marketing, basically, okay? Now, this version of what I do is I either bring up or create a problem. Now, if I'm bringing up something, I want to amplify it. I will give you an example of something I've done that made me $500,000 in sales. Look at a dog. What do almost all dogs have? They have a collar, okay? I was selling an LED dog collar for about 4 months, okay? Roughly 4 months. And I did a little over 500,000 in sales, which was decent for like the numbers that I push and the amount of effort I put into it. Now, it was an LED one that lights up. The whole premise of my ad, I brought up an accurate statistic, based on all the estimates on Google, of how many dogs get either injured or killed by being hit by vehicles on the road at night. Okay, so I brought up a problem. I said the number, the statistic, I gave a real fact. I said this is how many dogs die because they're not able to be seen and they run in the road. Well, this LED dog collar was the solution to that problem, okay? So that right there is a little bit of fear-based marketing, but it's also a fact. I'm bringing up a problem and I'm amplifying it. And the way that I like to structure my ad copy is almost to make the person feel bad if they didn't buy it, because you would be a bad pet owner if you didn't buy it. Not necessarily saying that you are a bad pet owner if you don't have a LED dog collar for your dog. However, you get the idea, okay? So that's one thing I love to do, and this works extremely well. I mean, think about it. Any type of marketing has to have a problem, right? I got a flyer in the mail the other day, okay? I'm at my newer house. I moved in here 2 months ago. It was a flyer from a local company who fixes leaky roofs. And they say the best way to prevent needing a whole new roof is to just patch up all the issues. And they say naturally over time, there's going to be issues and you need to get it fixed. And since it's the rainy season here, these couple months of the year where it rains all the time and there has been really heavy rainstorms, I'm sure they get a whole bunch of people who are afraid of having to spend $100,000, which is legitimately what it might cost, to replace the whole roof. To spend like $500 or $1,000 to get just someone to come out real quick, inspect the roof, and probably patch any holes, right? So it's more so that fear, right? They bring up a problem, they amplify it, there you go. That is the first thing I always look to do. There has to be a problem, you're selling the solution, okay? Now, like for an example, let me give you another example. And I love examples. So let me give it from my own personal side. One of my companies is Ecom Season, okay? And that's where we have one training program. There's a 30-day e-commerce academy. That is the only thing I offer on the end of teaching besides YouTube. Now, the problem that my company solves, my education company, I show people stuff like this. I show them how to properly set up, run, maintain, and scale their ads and their marketing for their company, their service, or their client. So it's really as simple as that. There's a problem. And when I go to market that, I explain, here are some problems that you might face. And typically, since I'm very aware with the industry and I'm actually inside of it myself, I'm not just teaching it, right? I actually do this. I'm aware of what their problems are. So if I list 4 or 5 things, I can pretty much be very confident that on almost everybody who sees it, I've hit at least one pain point. So they're going to pay attention to me a little bit more. So then from there, you can move forward on giving them a legitimate solution that will help them, right? So think about that. Now, number 2 inside of here, I consider this to be optional, but more so situational, okay? And that is asking a yes question, okay? I'll give you an example, because one of the ad creatives that I was doing for the LED dog collar, an ad creative means it was a separate type of ad being run to the same audience, right? I want to see which one the same type of people will buy from more. I want to see which one does better. It's called a split test. So I was running one of them where I had a yes question at the very top of the ad copy. And I believe that yes question, and I'm paraphrasing, but it said something along the lines of, do you love your pet? Or do you love your dog? And that right there, I'm targeting pet owners. I'm targeting people who are interested in all these different dog pages, dog interests, things of that nature. So I know that the person who's seeing that ad loves their dog, right? You have a dog, you're gonna love the dog. You're not gonna say no to that. So when you start asking your consumer a yes question, they're going to start being put into a buying mode. It's all about psychology. So again, let's go back to the education piece of it. If I list out people's pain points, they're going to say, yes, I have that problem, right? They're starting to agree with you. And any people out there who do sales, you know you have to get the customer agreeing with you. You know, like someone comes into a car dealership, they want to buy a new car. Well, get them to start saying, yes, I think I need a new car. Yes, the safety in my old car is an issue. It's not very safe. Yes, there might be issues with the engine soon. I probably should get something newer. You know, get them to agree with you. It is always going to help with the sale, whether it's in person or digital. Okay, so a yes question is something I very frequently like to implement if I can. You know, there's not always a way to kind of integrate that into your ad, but when there is a way, I usually like to find it and put that in there because it helps. Now, the third thing, this is where I kind of come in from like an e-commerce perspective. Let me give you another example, okay? I build out an e-commerce website because I want to sell a new product. Let's take the LED dog collar for an example. I build the website before I make any ads, okay? I build out the whole website. I put the product, the collar, on the website. I write out a description, which takes me time to formulate it the right way, use the right words. Again, it's all psychology. I write out that description first. Then I go make my ad. Now, for those of you who know ad copy underneath an ad, it's really only like 3 to 6 sentences, but your description might be a couple paragraphs. So I take the most highlighted, most unique, and most important part of the description, and I put it into the ad copy. I want to make sure that that piece that I put in, the fact about the product, is going to be the thing that causes the most intrigue. Because at the end of the day, when I put a product in front of someone or a service and I'm advertising it to them, all I really want them to do is engage with me. All right, like my post, comment, share it, or better yet, click on it and go to where I'm taking you. So if I can get them to engage, then that opens up the door down the road for retargeting, things of that nature, which is huge. All right, huge, especially those of you who already run ads, you know that that is a massive, massive portion of your sales. But I want to get people interested. So this third point is all about intrigue. It's all about curiosity. I want to highlight the main feature of the product. For an example, you know, I'll say the statistic and I'll highlight that around the product. I'll say how this is, you know, rated the #1 product to defend against that problem. Or if I was selling a workout, like abdomen or whatever you say, like an ab roller, you know, you lay down, you have like the little wheel, it works out your abs. I'm going to start bringing up some sort of thing about how that's like one of the best fat burners and, you know, like shaping your abs. I'm going to bring up something that intrigues people, right? Have you ever tried one of those? Again, this is probably a yes question. Have you ever tried to work out your abs and it didn't work? Yes question. Then I would follow up with a highlight about the product. Okay, I would say something, have you ever tried to do properly, you know, something, and again, this takes me time to create, I'm just doing it on the fly, but have you ever, you know, done one of these rollers that's going to work out your muscles in a very specific way that if you do it in the right intervals is going to trim your fat the quickest, tighten up your core, and give you the definition that you're looking for. Okay, so something like that where I'm causing more intrigue. I'm going to say, click here to learn more about how you can do this at home in less than 5 minutes. Intrigue. Nobody necessarily, I mean, I know some people, but most people don't want to go to the gym. That's like a painful thing to do. So if you can quickly get the same results, or at least how you're starting to position it, in 5 minutes at home, that's going to intrigue someone. Okay, so again, this, I don't know if you guys can still see this, must be on a native ad. It is always going to work better for you when you can do it like that. Okay, so whoever you're marketing it to, basically for me, this essentially means no photos on a white background. It's as simple as that. No person is regularly going to see that. It's really simple. So if I'm posting the dog collar, it is not just the collar on a white piece of paper with nothing else where all you see is the collar. It is the collar on a dog at night out and about, like on the street. That's how I, start the ad. So I want to make sure that it's something that looks a little more native, where it's like a scenario they're familiar with. So they'll stop to be, oh, look, a dog. And then they'll be like, oh, wait, the collar. What is that? It's going to be like a focal point. So that right there, as simple as it is, these three things throughout this type of ad that I create has been able to produce me millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in sales just over the last few years for both myself and for clients, where I'm running and managing 100% of their marketing and their advertising. So there's obviously a lot more stuff that goes into it. Again, that's where like what we teach inside the educational company comes in, because the marketing piece of it is very different from the advertising. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to break this down here because I know a lot of people on here are marketing something. It doesn't have to be an e-commerce product. It can be just about anything. Okay. So that's why I wanted to go through and cover this, so that you can have a little bit of a better sense of what's worked for me, so that you can start to structure your marketing and your ads in a way that might potentially bring you better results, even if something's already working for you. Okay, so I definitely encourage you to test this out, just because for me it has been so huge in my own personal life and my business life. You might ask, how does it relate to me personally? I am able to feel so much more fulfilled by even filming something like this, which is weird. I'm just talking to a camera in an empty room, but I know hopefully this video gets no views, or doesn't get any views. Or wait, doesn't get no views, right? Hopefully someone's watching this and actually gets value from it. Because for me, this is huge, right? It's been able to impact my business, which gave me the financial freedom to literally do basically everything I've wanted to so far. My first goal, drop out of school, done. Second goal, have enough financial freedom to be able to move out of the house. I did that underage, which was kind of like a little dream of mine, a fantasy, and then be able to travel and have freedom. If I want to go get food, I can go do that. So it has impacted my personal life. If I want to go on a date with someone, I have the ability to pay for it. Even if it's $30, I used to not be able to do that. So that's why this is so huge for me. It's very personal. I usually keep that stuff close to my chest. So I hope you guys appreciate this. Again, if you got any value at all, I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys dropped a like down below. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel if you want more things on just marketing, advertising, and kind of the nitty-gritty side of the business that isn't as sexy. Go ahead and hit the link. I'll leave it somewhere down below. It's the Ecom Season YouTube channel. I focus 0% of my attention on there on production quality. In fact, if I'm talking about a concept, I don't really care if I'm filming the video in the dark and you can't see me, as long as you're getting the value and it makes sense, okay? So definitely check out that channel. I've never seen anything or anyone create something like that, and I'm really excited about what's to come on that channel, okay? So be sure to check it out. If there's anything I can do to help you out in any further way than this video, please do let me know what it is, or drop any questions you have in the comment section down below. All right, with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.